place where our dreams can play. Waking up in Old Angeles City, heart and soul, you can start this day. Can't wait to be home again. On the streets, the life begins. Dreams so sweet, world awakens in this heat. Can't get you off my mind. Beauty and destiny so fine. Angeles City, morning shining bright. Every day, a new delight. Busy markets, bustling sound. Voices blend and hearts unbound. Colors dance beneath the sun. Life in every corner run. Endless smiles and endless friends. Feeling close and feeling near. In the Philippines we find simple joys that fill our mind. Can't get you off my mind. Beauty and destiny so fine. Angeles City.
Computer, scroll down, scroll down.
Welcome to Philippine Antics, and today's a very sad day.
Computer,
I'm going to a funeral today. It's a real shame how someone had an accident. Did you know you had an accident and had a funeral today?
Yes, I pulled an Al Roker.
That's how Roper got anything to do with.
Oh, dang. Some people know that reference.
Oh,
I had an antigen. Anyway. No,
I
that's.
have no idea, but I've been planning for your funeral for a long time.
I feel like a weekend at Bernie's.
Nope, nothing like that. That way we just outright dry bag today. I need funds today for George's funeral fund so I could pay for my cats and my chicken. Right there. Here's the biggest chicken in this house. Will you stop? What's with your dog? Don't look at me, Bella. So, anyways, good morning, guys.
Morning, guys.
Good morning,
Magandang
morning.
umaga, masanting awak, mayang buntag.
Mayan butag.
Actually, what's the one that says mayang buntag sa tahanan. Good morning to you all, or good evening. How's that? Actually, I wanted. There's a ton of these things are all over Angeles City, and I'm not sure.
Besides your kids,
Well, that's in every like estate.
there's a lot.
That's
there.
in one in every state. Yeah. Well, anyway, no, I'll maybe a different time. So, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing wonderful. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening or morning, depending on where you're at. No, I know.
I wouldn't.
It's
No, it's not okay. You're not on top of your job.
what? My job. No, that's right.
No, it's not.
Well, remember, it varies. Guys, it's a technical thing. Nothing to. I know it varies.
So, okay, so that'll work.
There's no perfect
That'll work.
match. That's what I was getting at.
Be sure glad to get to that funeral.
Anyway. No. I was just thinking of how many funerals I've been to. Quite a lot. Anyway, MB, hello, Philippine Antics Squad. Hey, MB, how you doing? First, Ronald Country Boy says extreme Muslim America is a good thing. Well, at least they can afford to live. Yeah, live
They can
here.
afford to live.
Exactly.
If you can avoid immigration, that's for sure.
Right. Well, what you do is you take a boat and you pay $3.5 million. Yep. Do the Alice route. Take a boat and pay $3.5 billion.
Million.
Oh, sorry, $1 million. Yeah, sorry.
Pesos are around 3.5 million US. is what she paid to take a small boat out of the Philippines, allegedly. It sounds more like from the top of the government to get out situation. I mean, she could have paid somebody 100,000 pesos and they put her on a raft.
Yeah, and if you can't afford $3.5 million, according to some particular individual, sell your
You'll
house.
never get out of the Philippines.
Just saying.
Right?
Anyway, Neil says, "Oh yeah, sorry, Neil. Yes, and thank you. Second one says,
And
"Morning,
we
peeps."
did correct that like initially.
It was a word change.
The word "the" got in there, and we did originally just have US, and then I guess when it was being retyped, the America got in there and just uploaded it. So we've had a busy morning today. So we appreciate you letting us know that.
Yes, thank you.
We all make
Thank you,
mistakes
thank you,
for
thank you. Ted Denkins, hello, beautiful. Hey, Ted, how you doing, man?
Good morning.
Um,
About time. Ted.
PH Prepper, Expat Prepper says, never going back to the US of A.
That's pretty much it. And there's many reasons to stay in the United States. You know, people will compare both the countries, especially, you know, being there's a lot of Americans here. They're not the top expats that are here, but the obvious reasons are financial. And we've been out of the country for almost 4 years now. So we've been going through our savings. We've moved a few times since we've been here, and we have fully set up shop here. So to fully shut up shop back in the U.S., then there was a mosquito on you. I kid you not.
Mm-hmm.
Look, right there. Look, George. You didn't see that?
There's some skeeters.
Look, I can show you. Look, you think I'm kidding? Right there it is. See it?
Yeah, you were.
Look.
What do you mean? There's nothing there.
You don't see that on the side of your face? That was a mosquito.
And that's not a mosquito.
What is that?
It's a mole.
It is not.
Yes, it is.
The one above it is. What's the second one?
It's a moving mole. It's a mobile mole. It's one of these new things you can buy on the internet.
Hey, you got another one on the side of your face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see one too.
Go on. I don't like you that much. Keep your hands off my hair there, James.
James?
Anyways. So it would cost a lot of money to actually go back to the U.S. Geez, you could probably be out 10, 15,000 just for deposits and having electricity turned on and everything else alone, let alone we sold everything before we came here. So that would be the biggest reason. Secondly, for me, it's going to be medical. I don't know if I can, at this point, actually take a trip back, and you have to be medically cleared in order to do that. So, contrary to belief and big mouths out there in the YouTube world, I have multiple medical conditions, and that have occurred in the last couple years. That have occurred in the last couple years, even more so. So the more years that go by, things have progressed with me, and I don't know if I can. So a lot of people are not aware that if they see you, and I'm not in a wheelchair, but if they think that you're sick in any manner or see that you're having problems, you may have to get a medical clearance to get on airplanes. An international flight, they've stopped several people from getting on international flights.
Actually, yes. In fact, it was like 2 days ago, somebody with, I'm just saying that they won't let you on a flight if they deem you're not healthy. 2 days ago, a gentleman was stopped from going into an airplane. Listen to this. You know why they stopped him going on an airplane? Because his hair plugs failed, and his hair plugs were basically oozing out of his head.
Oh yeah.
And because of that, what I'm saying is, it's not because he's like, like having a hard time breathing or
He
need
just
medical
looks sick.
attention.
It's kind of like
Right.
me. The only
Correct.
thing that people can see is I'm really a big woman and I'm able to walk. It's not like I'm sitting there like out of breath or something else. But I'm not as much worried about not getting a medical clearance as my own health being on a plane, because I think the flights, give or take, are 38 hours, 48 hours. In other words, it takes a few days, depending on the layovers, to get back to the US. So it is cost and the flight, and I don't want to leave my husband. So, I mean, there's many reasons why I wouldn't go back, let alone the political immigration issue, crime rate, homeless issue. There's a lot of reasons that I would not return back to the US. As a matter of fact, I just watched an entire video this morning of a guy in Thailand that was talking about the major difference. Now, you're going to get that here. You're going to get where people are asking for money. You're going to see the sick kids, the AIDAs, other people asking for money. And you're going to see that here. But the ones in the US, it's really actually increased times like 50. I don't know about Thailand. Every time I hear people talking about Thailand, they're saying it doesn't exist. So I don't know if anybody can collaborate on that. All the videos, I've never been to Thailand, but all the videos and people that I've seen that were showing videos, I didn't see, you know, the people asking for money. So I don't know if they clear them off the streets or if it's they've got places to put the homeless over there. But I'm saying the guy said it doesn't exist there, and he was showing videos back in his area in the United States. So many reasons, guys,
Yeah.
why cost is going to be the biggest thing because I just can't see. I cannot see a one bedroom at 2,000 in Florida. I just can't see it.
Now, to clarify on the wheelchair condition, just so you guys know, because a lot of people tend to take words taken out of our mouths and then alter it to their needs.
Or use it for content.
Okay, correct. Now, what I'm getting at is again, does Heidi need a wheelchair? Yes and no. Just to clarify. And the reason why I'm clarifying this, because again, for example, me, I can hike mountains, I can roam the mall for hours. Okay. But Heidi can't because of her medical conditions. Is she wheelchair bound? Is she stuck to it? Does she have to sit there 24/7? No. But for instance, when we do or when we used to do immigration, the 2 hour wait, there's a 2 hour wait.
I have used a wheelchair before.
Correct. 2 hours is a long time for anybody in Heidi's conditions to stand around or walk around for 2 hours nonstop.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
Correct. So yeah, it's a long time, and again, and I'm sure not just Heidi, even healthy
There's been a
older
lot of
people
people.
still need something to sit on.
They don't have a lot of seats here. If there were seats all over the mall, and that would be something different, but
Right.
they tend not to. But either way, it's a medical journey back to the US, and I have multiple conditions, and of course, skin cancer would have nothing to do with it. My lupus and being tired
Well,
and my
lupus actually has a
anemia.
lot to do with
Well,
it.
yeah, it's
I have a
muscles and
yeah,
soreness.
I have a lot of friends who have lupus, and most of the time they're just stuck at the house in the U.S.
Wow.
I haven't met
That's it.
anybody with
And
lupus
of
here,
course, the obvious
but in the
sets
U.S., I
in.
know a lot of people with lupus.
Size, energy, everything actually puts into play. But medically, it would be rough for me to go back. And it is for a lot of people. I don't know, like people kidding themselves. There are a lot of people that have medical issues that are already here that going back would, be an issue. So these are the reasons, the biggest reasons is cost and then medical. And then, uh, you know, the whole family can come over here and see. But,
Right?
yep. Come on vacation. Come on down to the beach. Smile and be happy's in the house. If I didn't mention PH, Prepper is in the house. Here down, Kitty.
Hold on, where is it at?
Hey, down, Kitty. Down, Kitty.
Sorry. Second one says, "I wear my sunglasses at night so I can." Nice. Ted Higgins, hey Gary. Second one says, "Well, now's a good time. He is in a suit." Oh, I see. Yeah. Thank you for, yeah. Thank you for the compliment. Walter Brown. Good evening
Look like
from the
Mr.
Pacific
Rogers.
Northwest.
Hey, Walter Brown. What's up?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day. You know, the funny thing is, yes, I was actually looking at the movie. It was played by Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I just couldn't get past.
Oh, well, it's a good movie, regardless. Smile and be happy. Thumbs up. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Ted
guys.
Dagan says George looks like he's adulting today. Yes. Thank you, Ted. Like I said, I look like I in the morning news, like, and now the news don't touch that dial. Bah, we ground our we mini bomb. Anyway, some of you will get that reference. Oh,
Oh, we're going to church.
yes, yes. Second one says
George is getting I'm getting baptized today, not
you
George.
are.
George is taking me to get baptized. Yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna
What?
shush.
Not enough bath water. You got like a 1 inch wading pool for tiny Filipinos. So Heidi went in there and sucked up all the water. It's just meant for teeny tiny Filipinos with teeny tiny parts. Teeny tiny
I'm
parts.
okay. I haven't been to a baptism in the Philippines recently, other than little babies. I mean, I know in the U.S., the most extravagant that I've seen is a clear pool inside the church where you can see the person go
Yeah,
inside,
that's like
like
the
a
one
clear
years ago
pool.
that I
Yeah,
was in. Yes,
yeah. And
in
then there's some
Florida.
that actually have a little actual swimming pool outside, and they do that. But anyway,
I was going to take a swim, but they said no.
oh my god.
It's boiling. Get out. I thought this was it. Get out. I thought it was a get out.
So when you go in the pool, is
Jacuzzi.
it like Gremlins? It starts boiling everywhere, and little Heidi's pop out of you.
Depends if I farted or not.
Oh, well, actually, that's probably a true story. Second one says
You might see bubbles and green. Who knows?
right. Second one says I'm
Raisin
sitting here in Las
bran.
Piñas eating raisin bran and bacon. Ah, darn you! Darn you! I was actually thinking about bacon the other day. Jennifer Wilson says 90 degrees centigrade and sunny in from Vancouver Island. Hello, everyone. Hello, Canada. Ayo, or whatever. No, I really don't know. Jeepman9 says
87% humidity.
I don't even look at the weather. It's always
It's
nice and
always
sunny in the Philippines.
always hot and sticky in the Philippines.
And well, it depends on your body type. Actually, that does change things. Hello, everyone from Victoria. Oh no, some people, regardless of size, they can adjust to any type of temperature. Some people,
No,
and
that's true.
yeah,
But you are a
but there
small
are some.
person and you sweat. You're
No,
always
oh,
glistening,
I've always been
sweaty,
like
and
this. I've
sticky.
always been
So
like this.
no,
That's
you
what I'm
are.
saying. It doesn't matter your body type.
Right, but you can always sell the expats in the mall for sure.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
it's
But
like
what I'm saying
we're
is, keep in mind there are some people who, if you remove them from their current environment and move them to either hotter or colder, they will literally get sick and they need to come back
yeah,
home.
that's
Yeah, again, it varies. Has nothing to do with body type or your diet or anything. It's some people cannot adjust, and that's something you have to be aware. Bruce Hertz. Hey, Bruce Hertz. Good morning from Baguio City. All right, Baguio City. Nice and cool weather over there. California Bear says, good morning, everyone. Hey, California Bear.
a good morning.
Lars Long says,
Good
hey, hello, LG. Oh,
That's
LG. That's right. That's right.
LG's
Sorry,
second
sorry,
account.
LG.
Hi.
LG on spare phone, right? He's on backup unit. Scott World says, hey, check out Scott's World. He's got his own channel. If you like little green herons, and there's an interesting boat that he just posted. Um, hey, Scott World. Well, it
Thought I
just
would
says
clean
Scott World.
up our act.
Hello, Heidi. What did you do with George? Oh, wait, what?
You know.
Oh, I
Don't you
see.
guys know this is how we are every day? We just thought we would just show you what we really do every day. We're trying to be straight laced.
Oh, Ted Dangan says, yeah, you are all looking good today. Racer X says, hello, Heidi and George. South Carolina, how's hi, peeps? Big
Hey,
Colonel says, and good morning from Melbourne, Australia.
Australia.
Oh, Bruce Hart says, I'm also never going back to the US and the Philippines. Whoa, where are you going?
Oh, where you going there, Bruce?
Q says, hi. Hey, Q. How is the weather there? As according to Heidi, it is humid. Did
I
it?
don't know.
It's been a little
It's
bit
like
of rain
90.
showers, but nothing serious.
Oh my God, we had this guy real quick on Facebook. I was telling George about him yesterday. You can always tell when they go on the expat forums, and I think it's whoever's running the forum creates a fake account to come in and start something to get conversations going. So, like, you'll see nothing coming along in the expat forum, and then all of a sudden, you get the same guy that'll pose the craziest, stupidest questions we've ever seen. And one yesterday said that he's on Walking Street, and then he stated that that's the one I told you that said there's only chicks with
Hey, there's
male
nothing wrong with
parts,
having extras.
right? Saying it had male parts, and that's all they could find on Walking Street. I'm like, yeah, this is a troll.
Bonus.
And then it's like, yeah, it looks like he didn't go very far. Someone says, yeah, try spending a little money or something. Then they were going on about the Koreans taking over Angela City and how it's expensive and all the millionaires and all this. It just went on back and forth. And they told the guy to spend a little money. And I'm like, you guys, you're blind. This guy's just starting stuff. And then what happened 3 hours later, he came in and said, somebody told me I can live on $800. I said, what kind of monkey fool expat blogger told you that crap?
Okay, now
In Angel City, near the Walking Street area, is where he claims to be.
if you claim that you can't find, okay,
3 hours later,
regardless of your sexual preference, again, that's up to you.
he's in the wrong area.
Correct. Thank you.
Or somebody said you're attractive
Thank
like
you.
other people do.
If you go into a bar, just an
It
example,
is
in
what
the
it
US,
is.
if you go in the bar and because I've done this before, I've gone in the bar and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of hot ladies in here. And I was like, wait a minute. There's
I've been in a
only
Yeah,
there's only
that
ladies in
happens to me
here.
once in Ohio.
You know, you have to be aware where you're at, when you're at, how you're.
And
I
to
mean,
be
come on,
fair,
come on.
to be fair, in the mid '80s, to see a bar, it's like I walked in and I was with a friend. Remember, I was telling you about this. I still talk about this to this day. Me and my girlfriend walked in, and there were like a lot of good-looking guys sitting on the bar
There you
stool.
go.
And what would I have known in the mid '80s? I was like 18 years old or something. And yes, back then in Ohio, you could at least drink beer, right? And so I was like, it turned out it was a gay
Correct.
bar.
You know, just have to be aware where you're at, and then you're like, okay,
There's nothing wrong with
I'm
that.
probably in the wrong area. Probably best. And but
They
but
told him that. They
don't
told him
be
that.
a bleep hole about it. I mean, of course, I ordered my drink,
They
finished my
got to eat.
drink.
Right. They got to
You
eat.
know, dancing with a few girls. They don't mind. I
They
mean,
got
and
to
then
eat.
and then you
They're,
leave. Yeah, they're just normal people. Don't
it was
freak out.
hilarious. But
You
it was the
know.
same
Yeah.
guy, and it was a new account. And I'm like, I used George's account to go in and make a comment. It said George Mendoza. I said, oh, same dude that just mentioned earlier he couldn't find a woman in Angel City, only men that are acting like women. And now he's saying that can he live on $800? I said, best to go back to the US. Anyways, that is the truth. If you couldn't figure out $800 budget, which there's a lot of Filipinos and expats, a bunch of them came through, a bunch, and said they're living on 800 US dollars here. Like one guy went and broke it down. Okay, you can live in 10,000 peso this, 5,000 pesos for electric in Angel City. And he mentioned 10,000 for beer, and it was weird budget. Of course, he didn't mention all the other basics like medicine, medical, immigration, which you got to figure at least $30 a month for immigration, because you go every 2 months if you're on a tourist visa, and then depends on if you're on SRRB. Then there are yearly fees, so you'd have to check out. But he was leaving a lot of things out, but he broke down the $800 budget perfectly. And it's like, yeah, and then things come up and you have to buy things, and it's, can it work for you? Yes. And then there was another guy that stated that he did all of that, lived in the province on $800. He supported his ex-wife, and he did all the above. And he said there was something else. Oh, he goes out to eat every day, and he goes to the bars, and he said that he goes on vacation to different islands on $800. And I'm like, lies. Supports the ex-wife on it also. First off, it wouldn't be a Western wife. And
Lies.
if if it's a Filipina, you're talking about usually supporting an entire household, and it's like, yeah, if she was living in a bed spacer at 3,000 pesos or
Lies.
something.
Well, okay. Now, can you live here at $800? Yes. Is it something you're accustomed to? No.
No,
Do you have to
did that.
downgrade a lot? Yes. And then
Like hot dogs
keep
and
in mind
candy.
that's living single. Now, if you're gonna get somebody else with you, then that blows that budget away. Again, nothing. Is it feasible? Yes, but
Yeah, there's a lot that actually say we're
what
just
most
spoiled
people
as
imagine in their
Americans.
head, well, I can live like a king here.
That's what I thought.
Nope, forget that. Anyway,
I mean, believe me, it's way better here, no doubt
no,
in
no,
my
no.
mind.
You'll live better
It's
here with the same amount of money. True,
but other things.
but not what these other vloggers. Oh well, yes, I'm in Surigao and I'm drinking like Starbucks coffee and my budget is like $800. No lies. Forget that. That's not ever gonna happen because Starbucks here is the same price as in the U.S. I tell you that right now. So anyway, um,
Yeah. 1 second here. Hold on.
Q says my Filipina has been in the USA for years. That's great. Actually, if she's been working in the USA for 10 years, that qualifies her for Social Security. Bruce Hurt says the Philippines are my home. Oh, great to hear that. Great to hear that, Bruce Hurts. Thank you. Enigma says, Mayang buntag sa tanan. Good morning to you all. Speaking of Filipino, there's actually some posters around the Angel City area, and there's one little statement I would like to share to you, and it's kind of cute. There's a ton of these, but anyway, listen carefully. And the reason why I say listen carefully because okay, this is real. This is not a joke. This is how it is. It says, "Nung, nung."
Uh,
Okay, this is a real sentence. I'm gonna repeat it.
Bruce.
Listen to the words. Keyword words. Nung, nung. This is a real sentence, and you know what it means? It means, what's mother cooking?
We were talking about that yesterday because I learned the word flour yesterday. Num chuck chuck.
Right.
What? No,
What? No, she's making that up. But
what's the word for flour?
flour.
Yeah.
Dang. Sorry, it's not a word that most Filipinos use.
Okay, yeah, because
Sorry.
what is it in Kapampangan?
Harina.
Okay.
Actually, now that thanks, it's called harina.
Right, but it isn't in Tagalog.
No, that's what I said. I think it's the same. Harina.
I remember here in a minute. But
Well, there
is
could be
two
other words
words.
too. I mean, there's a bunch of words. But
Well,
yeah,
that's what brought up the topic when we were talking about that yesterday.
right. And again, Filipino is not what people think and whatnot, but that's a good example. That's a nung. It sounds nonsense, but actually, it's actually a legitimate sentence. You're like, huh, never thought about that kind of deal. Yeah. And these are over Angeles City. There's a bunch of different things, and I thought it was funny. I guess it's more for the tourists. Um, Clubhouse Cobalt. Hello. Segment says, I'm mentally disturbed as it was led on a fight, George. Oh, that's different. Oh, wait. No, babe. You said flower.
Yeah, flour.
Right, not flower.
Flour.
Right. Flower and flower. Get it?
No.
Okay. I misunderstood. I thought you meant flower as in to bake versus flower as in the ones that bud and open up and bees come down. Get it? Flour when you bake with versus flour. Babe, I misunderstood. It's common.
Most people pronounce it the same. I didn't know there
Well,
was
that's
a
what I
pronunciation
said.
of the difference.
That's what I said. It's a very common.
And I said we were discussing it
Babe,
yesterday. We were talking about flour.
Again, no, I would have said it right away if you
But
said.
it was in our conversation yesterday. Did you forget already? That's why you're wearing the Mr. Roger outfit today.
Anyway, most people understand why that's a common misconception.
No, I understand.
Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Or Gulak, the one we were talking about yesterday.
Smile and Be Happy says hair plugs. No soup for you. Yeah, soup, soup
Yeah.
not. Oh, I don't think I'm allowed to say that other word. But anyway, yeah, no soup for you. PH Expat Pepper says, George, are you able to go back to say yes, I am, and I have again re-entered the U.S. regardless of whatever. But anyway, yes, in fact, I'd rather not say only because anyway.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, but the answer is yes. Big Colonel says I flew back to Australia last Sunday, and I'm ready to go back in the Philippines now. Too expensive here.
Yes, in Australia, most definitely.
Huh. I really wouldn't know. Q says my friend Kevin Media just got to Thailand a couple weeks ago. He is very handicapped. Oh, I see.
Gotcha.
I see. He has a hard time standing. 62 years old. Well, that's a thing. Again, the like again, Heidi can is mobile, but there is a time limit.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people have to understand that.
And it depends on the days and depends on if I'm on steroids and if I'm rested up and everything else. But lupus is my biggest enemy
Right.
right now. So,
Yeah.
and medical conditions do change over time. So, for those that are arriving here, the older you get, things do start to happen. So, I just want to, make that statement that some people, do arrive in different conditions, and over the years, it does change. So, that's for sure.
Right.
So,
And that's also a good point. It's that's the thing that a lot of unfortunately handicapable people are quick to judge. And Jeetman just made a good point. Now, Jeetman says, hello, I'm 56 and have severe arthritis. Can't stand more than 20 minutes or walk more than 100 feet. So I use a wheelchair service in the airports and everywhere I travel. Never thought I'd be. That's the thing. A lot of handicapable people or non disabled people, both, again, they think that because somebody is getting off the wheelchair and walking around that oh they don't actually need a wheelchair, they make quick judgments. No, that's not how it works. There's a lot of people who use wheelchairs. There's a time limit again to whatever their physical condition is, and they can't last long without it, right? And thank you for bringing that up, G-Man, again, because again, you have a certain distance and you have a certain time limit depending on the situation. But I'm pretty sure you get judged the same way as Heidi does whenever she doesn't use a wheelchair. Can she live without it? Yes. But there's consequences. Like for instance, I always say use the wheelchair, use the wheelchair, use the wheelchair, or else you will regret it. Because guess what? If she doesn't use the wheelchair, she's literally down for the count for a couple days because she refused to use a wheelchair because
yeah,
it takes a lot of toll on her body, right?
yeah, and we discuss this, we had the conversation. It's not only my size, which I've never denied, and it doesn't stop me from doing things. The problem is when I overexert
Correct.
on my muscles, my everything, my kidneys and everything, just more drained so than
Yeah, yeah, and again, most of the people were okay. Hold
yeah,
that thought.
yeah. Delivery. Yeah, it should be paid for. Yeah, Where were you at?
After Jeepman.
Oh, okay. It's a big problem in the Philippines if a major medical mishap arises and there's no money for surgery or treatment in the Philippines. Doctors will stabilize the condition but not treat if no money. Pretty much. For me, that would be the one reason that I would go back, is I still have the insurance in the United States.
No.
So, trying to get out.
No.
No. So that would be a reason to go back, and that is one of the reasons. Like when there are Americans and other expats that are leaving the Philippines, medical and money become two of the reasons. Yeah, I don't know what to. You may want to see. I think you can buy a watch thing to slip on. There's got to be one that you can buy for this size.
That's why it's not working.
Yeah, his digital, um, his watch came off. Yeah, so his digital watch keeps coming off. But these are the reasons. George, Pinoy, John Wick. Hi, guys. Yeah, that's who you remind me of with that. Hey, Walter. My main concern about moving to the Philippines is how medical emergencies or accidents can be efficiently handled. And it will be a big deal. Ambulance, emergency rooms that want their money up first, even if I have it. Sounds a little scary. And it is. That is something that everybody needs to consider the moment they decide, which is a lot of people decide to sell everything, get rid of everything, up their roots, and live here for a couple years. It's bound to happen at one point or another. Some hospitals will take credit cards. Some, want a larger payment up front. Like Jules, I remember saying he had to put X amount of a deposit up front. So there are going to be these issues. Where I'm blessed right now is usually if I have issues, I either go to Clark Medical and it's been fairly inexpensive, or having blood work drawn. Is a lot of my stuff has been inexpensive, including medications have been inexpensive. But the problem comes in is a large medical thing. I was telling them that would be the one reason I would go back. Let's say I needed absolute heart surgery, then that would be a reason I'd go back and save family members just to actually have medical done like that. But that's what he's saying is, how they handle ambulances is a whole nother different issue. That is for sure. That is 100% sure. Even here, it can be an issue, right? Correct? Getting an ambulance here would take a little bit of time. There is a 911 system here.
No, the reason I have to think about it is because
There's even private. That's another thing.
yeah, but 911 does exist here, and honestly, a lot of Filipinos aren't even aware of this. They don't a lot of Filipinos aren't even aware that 911 exists because the default thing for Filipinos, they call the barangay
You guys do.
for an ambulance because the barangays don't have a real ambulance. Again, it's a medical transport, but they call them ambulances. But yeah, no.
Hey, Sarah's in the house.
Bruce Davis. Hey, Bruce. How you doing? Hi, Heidi and George.
Bruce.
Everyone. Good morning. Good evening.
Hi, we should see Bruce back here in the U.S. here shortly. And guys, it's almost the beginning of the Christmas season. Jingle bells. It's Christmas time in the Philippines.
Yeah. Just
Ring-a-ring,
right.
jingling, jingling.
Wait. It's not time yet. It's almost time.
Almost time.
It's almost Burr months. And remember, Burr months here in the Philippines is Christmas time. I'm not making that up.
One of those is your Christmas tree right there.
Well, that's why we haven't been. Now, Big
Yeah,
Colonel, I'm
this
gonna put
year.
up what you said, but remember, any type of derivative of said substance is not allowed in the Philippines, just so you know, as of today.
Yeah, so no, he's talking to Deep Man anyway.
Right,
So
no, I know.
yes, there is none, but they are on the last. They're getting close to the reading of doing medical
Legal leaf. Right.
here, and so it is in the works. We've discussed it. It's not exactly it can shadow ban accounts. People don't realize that accounts get shadow banned based on said subjects, but no. So
Yeah,
it's
legal leaf.
coming, but it'll probably
Yeah.
be for Filipinos. I don't know if they'll actually.
Right, and derivatives are not allowed. It's like in Mexico, even the derivatives, whether it's shampoo or soothing oil or anything like that, is not allowed.
They're probably gonna take you down.
Never know. Lars Long says, I was told Congress rescinded the catastrophic free treatment under Durante administration. Is that true?
I don't know anything about it.
I honestly don't. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you for your support.
We'll put that towards your
speaking of
funeral
Linda,
funds.
Who's Linda? Who's Linda?
I keep leave Linda alone. She's probably sleeping. We called the new kitten. We've had a few names for but her name, we initially thought it was a male, so we called it Geo because it was exactly Geo's birthday when we found her outside with an attitude. But somebody had tossed the kitten. It looked like they were just throwing her out, like literally throwing her. And she come running towards the people that tossed her. And then they tossed her again and she ran and then she took off. And I was like, oh, go get her, George. And she was in bad shape when we brought her in. Turned out it was a female and we named her Gia. But she's always like meowing and yapping and meowing. And
She
so
talks a
then
lot.
she talks a lot. I said, listen, Linda. And so that's been my thing with her.
Now
Like,
we call her
listen,
Linda. Yeah.
So now I call her Linda, but Linda is one of my dad's ex-wives. So it kind of got weird for me for a minute, but I just call her Linda too. We always have like two names for the cats, just like we have this one that's active. She's only 2 months older than the kitten.
Well, she used to be
And
called Tweety. Now we call her Rabbit because of her rabbit fur.
her fur's really soft, but she's got one of her eyes is bad, so she's blind, in
blind.
one eye. But I've been calling her Brownie because she looks like one of those mixed brownies. Because we have Cookie, and then we have Brownie, and then the other cat is Gucci, and then we call this new kitten Gia, and so it's kind of a weird balance.
Yeah,
So,
I
anyways,
had to pick that one up because she was tiny and she was blind.
and sick.
Otherwise, she's not gonna make it. And
We rescue
Gigi, same
rehome.
thing, or Linda, same thing. She got a really messed up foot. It took her a while to
Well, it's
recover.
mangled. No, it is.
Yeah, she had a
recovered, but
mangled
now
foot.
she's got some sort of dermatitis.
Yeah.
syndrome.
Now second one, yes, Landers already had Christmas stuff. Yes, we actually showed in one of our videos.
Mhm,
They
we
do
should.
have Christmas stuff, and that was last month when we were at Landers. Yeah. Yeah, no, they have Christmas stuff already. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, true story. Yeah. Welcome to the Philippines, as they say.
Right. Hey, Robin Murray is in the house.
Um,
Hey, brain damage. What a name. Can you please share your experience as a nurse? My daughter is considering that job. That was a long time ago. That was mid 90s. It's a good job though. So for sure.
yeah. Q says, regardless of your perversions, I like beer. There's nothing wrong with beer.
Oh, my perversion saying I went into no, he's just going out. It's just you don't want to go into a room full of just girls when you're out wanting to dance and play darts. Think about it. So you go and we're walking downtown Columbus, Ohio, and you're kind of going, you're going from one place to another to hang out, and then you're like, bonus, there's a bunch of guys in here. We could play darts and pool, and you're kind of excited. I mean, it would be the opposite for a man. And what did I know about perversions or who you date or whatever? People are people, but I was like, hey, there's a lot of good looking guys in here. Let's hit it. It's just like, oh, dang, man.
Bruce Hurt says that there's literally hundreds of women in Longstreet. They can certainly be found. No, no. That's the thing. That's
They
the
make
point.
up posts 100% about, you'll see different expat forums when the forums they go dry, they'll add, or somebody just comes in and there's this guy that was on there forever. He disappeared now. There was a guy that was always showing his mixed drinks and talking about stuff and bringing up controversial topics that have been talked about a million times. And he came through talking about the same thing, stirring everybody up, getting 200-300 comments. And I said, yeah, he's just in here to, we were kind of onto it. Same with this guy. Within hours, he kept posting different things. Like, it was just weird.
Now remember,
Like,
there's also
yeah,
a certain
this isn't.
psychology to this, and what I'm saying is, a lot of people see what they want.
That's what they said. They called him out on that. They called him out. Just like we talked about the people that talk about people, on YouTube when they're really digging, and digging. It's usually because there's something deep within.
Yeah, it's called projecting. They actually
they're
see
projecting
themselves,
what's
and
going
therefore
on.
they put
Right.
it out there. And
Or they're just
there,
madly in
and
love
again,
with us.
there's nothing wrong with sexual preferences or whatever you want. Just
Yeah,
it's no big
man.
deal. I mean, that's what you want. That's what
It
you
was
want.
just weird.
I mean, no.
But then he come up with the 800 budget 2 hours later. So it's like,
Well,
it's
then,
like,
then
dude,
that's a different
I
story.
used your name and said go home.
Yeah, and again, like Bruce Hurt says, yeah, there's hundreds of women. No, I mean,
Yeah.
men or women, again, both sides. Um, Bruce Davis says there's Lots
There
of women
is.
in Wall
There's a
Street. I've
lot
seen a
of
bunch. Yes,
women. There's a
yes,
lot of women and men to
yeah,
date here. That's just it.
yeah.
Is you
No.
can. It's
Q says he is just looking to put out blame on somebody else. Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Um,
Hey, Pee Wee Barnes is in the
Silver
house.
Raven says $800 will not.
Really, it's third. Over there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Silver Raven will work in the Philippines and the U.S. They become homeless in the U.S. Right, right. Again, that's not the issue. The issue is they show you a certain lifestyle and it doesn't usually match.
I probably really think she should be off that and away from the router ears, and that's not good. They keep hitting the cord and everything. But
No, I think that's what it is. Q says I used to say
yeah,
to my brother, "Whose fault today?" Ooh, damn. When I have a first talk with him. There you go, my brother. Yeah,
you could live on that as a single person. If you have girlfriends, then you pay for
correct.
two. Well, you can. I mean, believe me, as a single person, and there are people living on $300-400 a month, 500 as an entire household. So we get it. I was just telling George that if Filipinos seen like the inside of our, life, they will think that we're actually super
Uh,
rich, regardless of what other expats think of our lives, that we're living like, junkyard dogs here. That's not the way that appears to the outward world. And the only thing that matters is our comfort. And that's what we want to make sure that we have is our comfort. But the one thing we don't have to worry about is how to pay the bills and everything. So it's everybody will have an ideal,
yeah.
a different perspective on what's enough to live on. I can probably still say yes, you can, but you're not going to live up in a place at 5, 6, 700, dollars a month. And when you go into a place for half that cost, like when we moved in here at 180 US, it's still a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. The deal is we had to put hot water heaters in. There was like work we had to do to the place when we moved in. There's a lot that you had to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of investment. So, yeah. Hey, Victor, what are you?
Yeah, no. I'll get to that. I was just trying to debate whether it's worth. Not really. Second one says it's all fun being a nurse until Code
Code
Brown.
Brown, right?
I
Until you
love that.
do a
That's
bunch
hilarious.
of
Code Brown, Code Brown. If you have to ask what Code Brown is, you need to go outside your rock, drive your car somewhere, and live. But anyway, touch grass. Anyway, second one says none your damn business. There you go. Hi, Sarah.
hi,
Hello, Heidi and
Sarah.
George. Hello,
Hi,
Ramis.
Sarah.
Bruce Davis says when I was there, my wife and me only had at first black pepper, salt, garlic powder, and chili powder. That was until we got a lot more spices. Yeah, no, I mean,
That reminds me is like think about when you first moved out. Like when I moved out of my parents' house, it started like that. You're like excited and you got you a few dishes, like a couple cups, a couple plates, a couple forks, and you just had salt and pepper. 4 years later, you had an entire spice rack and you had umpteen million outfits in your closet. It showed, I say, remind me of a YouTube video that I just seen recently. It showed you when you were young and spending and you're eating all this junk food and all this young stuff and you're just throwing everything in your cart and everything. And then it shows when you get older, it's like, wow, 50 pesos for a bottle of water. I just don't think I can do it. Sound like me, like when I get and start looking, it's like, I don't know if I can pay that. You start getting picky about the money
you
you're
get Philippine
spending. And
mode. Yes.
yeah, and so we're kind of in the
Oh no, don't mind me. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Pee Wee Barnes says Angel City is cool. It's like Gotham City.
yeah.
No, really,
There's a lot of
that's a little
areas.
dark there. No, it's not. Not even close. I
It's
mean,
only related down to a few streets, that's for
yeah,
sure.
it's
There's a
not like
lot more
that.
to Angeles City, and there's
It's not
Clark,
what
and
expats show you. Keep in mind, expats are expats, and I mean that with utmost respect. That's like saying taking the word of a tourist who doesn't know the area, and then making a statement, a blanket statement about a particular city.
there are other videos that people have put out. Mostly it's Filipinos that put out all the different areas of Angeles City. We probably really should
Well,
do more what I call documentary like
well,
videos showing the area
a good
besides
analogy would be like,
Mavalacat. Like we've shown you guys a lot of Mavalacat City, which is on the outskirts of Angeles City, a bunch of up and down MacArthur. You guys have seen the airport. We've even been over Clark at some areas, but we
no, there's
need
a lot of nice
to.
places
There's
here.
a lot of
A
people.
ton, a ton of nice places, and it's not what people think. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
Ryan, Philly, and the
a
Philippines are
right.
shown quite a bit.
A good analogy again would be like saying that, whatever you see about New York in the
Even there's
TVs, and
right.
that's like what? So
All
you're
of New
saying
York.
that upstate New York doesn't exist, and vice versa. That's like saying that Jersey is all of the entire Jersey area is like Camden, New Jersey. No, that's not how it works. You're talking about particular areas of particular things. That's same thing. Angel City is no different. Um, Sarah Tyson says you two look nice. Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate you. Um, Racetrack says never been to Angel City. April Zager says, do you sleep in separate beds? No, no, we don't have to. I mean, there's no reason to. Bruce Davis says, right.
I mean, do you?
Well, if he's single, that's kind of hard to do. But Bruce Davis, we had a flour and thigh rice. There you go.
Flower and thyroid.
Yeah. Bruce Davis, Love Angel City. Yeah. No. Again, for example, Bruce Davis was in. Well, actually, he's in San Fernando, but there's a lot of areas a lot like San Fernando in Angel City that is comparable. That's my point. You know. Um. Mods Junkyard Express. What do you think of our Philippine journey video of Zoom? Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
We seen that video. Because not many people have covered what Zoom is actually doing. Um, he's always had a different different perspective and outlook on topics that have come up. I was kind of wondering when he would cover some of it. Um, I don't know. My opinion on the Trump card situation. What do you think of that? The one thing would be is I don't think Sheila. I know it's just a topic of
It
conversation.
depends on what he's talking about. But to be fair,
So-
again, with all fairness, with all logic, with all rules and laws, Sheila, okay, I don't think she qualifies as an asylum seeker for a lot of
No.
reasons.
And I don't
One,
think she'll leave
she
the
is not
Philippines or
being
her
right.
job to
She is
go.
not being persecuted. She will never be persecuted. She is an individual entity. She's not the one who committed anything.
And she
She
has
is
to
not
provide beyond a reasonable doubt and proof that it's happening.
right. The
And
Filipinos are not going to go after
There's
her.
no war here.
And she's not even in the Philippines for the most part. And I say for the most part, according to Zoom, we're going by according to what Paul says.
The speculation is a very good. That's I would say speculation. We're just repeating what he's saying. We're going by what we have read in the papers. We're going by his own words from his own where he's been on the Filipina P and everything else. But I don't think it is a possibility.
Not for that. Not for her anyway. That's for sure.
Discuss it because we don't think it's a possibility. I understand he said it's a possibility. It's a very, very
well. Everything's a possibility. Even a 0.0001%, it's still a probability and possibility. Right. But will it probably happen? No.
Yeah.
and that's
And
being fair. I mean, go look up the rules and everything.
yeah, so our Philippine journey, if you guys didn't know, covered World Zoom, just discussing. He asked him to come on to a live stream and discuss things with them and give his perspective again or answer other people, because there has been a lot of opinions
Yeah, it's like
even on
this.
his own channel.
Let's go into the country's history because I'm not gonna name names. Okay, have there been public persecution in the Philippines to? Yeah, that's why I said I'm not gonna name names, and that's up to you guys. If you guys want to research or make up whatever or find the wrong stuff. Point being, has it ever occurred that individuals in the Philippines have been persecuted by the government? Yes. Have they run to the
Yeah, it's
U.S.?
not going to
Yes.
be
Were they
Sheila.
granted asylum? No.
I thought they were.
No.
I thought. Here, mute. I got to mute because I can't say it out loud. We just can't say the name of the person.
Well,
it
there's
was.
more than one.
Well, the whole
Actually,
point is
there's
I
more
don't
than
think
one.
Sheila qualifies whether she was married or not, and then she has to be willing to go or not. She'll never be able to see her family again, and as I'm to understand, she's young, so I can't see that she would give up her family
Well,
and
she's
all
not the
that
target.
because of
She's
an
not the
immigration.
target.
Right? She's not.
She
It
will never
doesn't
be.
matter.
That's not how
And if he
Filipinos
thought
work.
that, he wouldn't be covering what he actually is covering.
Filipinos
They're
aren't going to go
covering it
after
kind of,
her. The
and they're not
government's
going
not
to
going to
do
go
it
after her.
based on that. The other part of it would be what I think of him being compared, because that's not the first time I've heard him being compared to the second part of a movie and a possible book is his other Trump.
That's a different story too, only because one, it's not that
Midnight
special.
Express. Yeah, his circumstance, besides what he did, isn't even that special. People do that stuff all
I
the
hate,
time.
yeah,
And
I
with
hate to
that
say
number,
this.
it's
I mean,
nothing.
that people taking money
I'm
from
not
corporations
special.
and
My
stuff, it's not
situation was not
special.
special.
That happens in the U.S.
And
every
the
day.
DRUGs and somebody being beaten, and I don't know if I can say the other word.
Well, that's
In other
another
words,
thing. Nobody did that to him.
Nobody did
Nobody
anything
did anything to him.
physical to him, and he admitted by his own words that he was able to order food. So how come he starved?
And
in
nobody
there?
did. Nobody touched him in an inappropriate way, so to speak, regardless
All
of
of
whatever.
this stuff. His
You know.
story is that through immigration, he was held as an undesirable. He was still. I just listened to another video of his today. Not world zooms, not our Philippine
Right,
journey. Our
and
Philippine journey has a great perspective. We do appreciate his channel.
right, and the key is discrimination. I did say in the other live, if said Filipinos are in the exact same situation as he is, and they detain him in the same facility, they would have been treated the exact same way. Because guess
Right.
what? That's how they treat Filipinos the same way. Once you get
Yes.
detained, locked up, depending on your situation. So
Right.
what I'm saying is, he's not that special. They didn't single him out. They didn't.
He went
yeah.
on today, or the video that I've seen that he released in the last 12 hours or something. He stated that now he's got another part of the story saying that Mr. T actually pretended to be an embassy representative and turned in false documents on him, and that he plans to handle that. Somebody says, "Oh, are you going to try to take down Mr. T's channel and bring a suit against them?" And he said it was already in the works or something. And it's
Well, there's a few individuals that are allegedly did something to him.
Yeah, we seen there were a couple other channels being blamed. They said they were on that. According to the comments, we have to go by, and we've seen it on multiple channels, including Zooms, is that others are being blamed for it too. And I'm like, I don't know, that's a far stretch. But either way, you have to consider the actual source then. So it's, he showed that the facility was in bad shape. I had no doubt that he was living in a building that was falling apart. I had no doubt that there was no AC, no this, no that. But it sounds like he was allowed to bring things in. Also, isn't there a big difference whether how he was treated or not? It's not an actual prison. It's an actual detention center. Correct? Whole different thing for immigration. Are the rules the same? Do we know all of this? In other words, it's an immigration detention center to hold him to be deported. And then he covered Barry Jordan, you know, and that was another thing. They said that he said that he went and did a video about Barry Jordan, saying that Barry Jordan was being held because there's another expat that filed charges against him, and that's why he was being held. So I don't know about that either, guys. So, but that's where it is. So, hey, Rocky Raccoon is back in the house.
Yeah, George, did you borrow your dad's clothes, right? Too funny.
You should just get a battery operated wheelchair H cruise around. I have not used one in quite some time, but it depends on how long I travel and everything that would cause that.
Well,
So
not to mention, yeah, that's well. First off, it really we we
it's only part time,
well, what I'm saying is,
handful
if
of
if
times
you
a
have
year.
one, we need to install a hitch, like that hitch type thing on
Yeah,
the
we
back.
discussed that. Yeah.
It's more of a hassle than anything, because
So,
you have to attach the hitch to the car, and you
and I have
know,
a strong belief once you start using a wheelchair all the time, that's when
and then
people are
that's when
wheelchair bound.
it
Once they
makes it
wheelchair
worse.
themselves, once
Correct.
they are in bed all the time, it makes it harder to move around. And,
Right.
my condition is not that severe.
Yeah. Bruce Davis says Christmas time next month. There you go.
Yep, just in
Um,
2 days or something, they'll
Jennifer
consider
Wilson
it.
says electric bill is less than $20 a month, and 420 is legal in California. Hey,
Is it at CA or Canada?
no, I think that's California.
Is it? Yeah, we can't see which it
Yeah.
says.
Well, I don't think it's legal there yet.
That's a cheap bill on the electric if it is California. We forget where.
Capone, will hospitals take a check from a U.S. bank?
I doubt it.
No,
I
I don't think
doubt
so.
it. Unless they get it cleared. I know some. I heard. I haven't verified where people claim they have a U.S. account and they deposit in their Philippine account to wait for it to clear. That is a possibility, but I don't know if they will.
I think that's a third occurrence. But anyway, um,
I don't know.
no, I know. I'm just saying. Okay, now again, I'm not gonna mention what my thing is. Just real quick, that dog. Just so you know, again, I'm not gonna reveal my card, so to speak. But no, I can re-enter the U.S. and I have re-entered the U.S. And again, that tells you how much you guys know about me. But anyway, um,
Talk about insinuations.
oh, he's talking about
And I
Christmas.
and
Not
I
sure.
honestly don't even know why that would apply. They're just trying
Yeah,
to
not
assert.
sure. They had few lights and some decorations. Wasn't full blown yet.
The whole
Drew.
thing is you can. There's no
Oh, I
explanation
know I
needed. There's,
can. I don't.
I'm sure they're not a Filipino. They're just
And again,
gathering for their own
I'm not gonna tell you
information.
everything going on in my life, but whatever. Bruce Davis says, go to a bar in Ohio. Well, this morning as I was walked inside the restroom, and I unzipped my,
Well, that's what we talked,
copper plated zipper.
right? And
Anyway,
we opened up a bag of chips and carried
yeah,
it over
correct.
to the counter and left crumbs. Would you like to write that down too?
And as the salt like drops and bounces off the counter. Anyway, go to a bar in Ohio, then go to Woods Look for Bigfoot and Sasquatch.
Right.
Um, Second one says I've never been to Logan Street, but I'm guessing you see a lot of,
Legs.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I would say okay.
You
One,
can see a lot of legs just
there's
north of
nothing
the
wrong with
mall.
going to Wong Street. There's nothing really odd going on. It's just again a street full of bars and whatnot, and that's all you'll see if that's the type of person you are. I mean, what I'm saying is, if you're the type of person who wants to look at certain people, then that's what you'll see. People see what they choose to see.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I was. I was. Anyway, Victor. Hey, Victor. Hi, George and Heidi.
Um,
Okay, Vista Masters TV. Again, there's the point is yes. I agree, but disagree at the same time. Not because of what you said. Visa Masters TV says $800 can you let you live a decent life in the Philippines. But again, the problem we have is what they portray on their channels
right.
is
So
not
eating
eight hundred
out, going to the
dollars.
bars, beers, cigarette, immigration,
Girls,
electric, girlfriends,
right?
and all of this, and air conditioning and the whole 9 yards, an expat life.
Correct.
And we're saying no. Is it possible? 100%.
Oh yeah, you can again,
So
but it's a big downgrade. But it's not what they show. The problem we have is what they're showing and what they're living are two different things. Again, if you're gonna be talking about like, oh, I live on $800 and here I am drinking like Starbucks, lies. That's what our point. Now, if they're like sitting in a Sar store,
a
sitting like
Filipino
in front of
life,
Sar store, making their coffee and drinking it. Okay, I get
and
it.
nothing but fans, nothing
Correct.
additional, and no. Then it's possible, yes.
Yeah. Average meal in the Philippines is just $3. That's the thing. That's not what they averagely eat.
Yeah.
And decent rooms, again, there's not that's another thing. Most of these places they show are
But
not the
at
cheap
$3
ones.
a meal, that would still be
Right.
$9 a day, which is a couple hundred a month. And if they only have 800, then
Okay.
that's
And
going to
that's
go
another
to
thing. Hospitalization is free in the Philippines for all government. Yes, but guess what? Most of the time you'll be sitting and waiting.
great. But that's for expats without any insurance. They'll let you enter a government hospital for free
Well, they
without payments.
will do the minimal
Stabilize. Yeah.
stabilize, but that's the thing again. But most of the time, when these YouTubers show this is not what they show. They
Yeah.
show the other side of the coin,
Yeah.
right? Victor says, like, thank you so much, Victor. Appreciate your support. Um, Rob and Mary, and here's Rob and Mary again. Where I just said they do the minimal because it's free. And remember, that's kind of standard for most countries.
Hope
You
you're
you get what you pay for
hope
in
you're a
hospitals.
good healer.
If you're
Hey,
you're
D-Man.
a free one, hopefully you're a good healer. Exactly.
Hey, Hurley.
Hurley Wilson in the house. May God
Thank
bless all of
you.
you to my peeps. Oh, thanks so much, Hurley.
Thank
Appreciate your
you so
support. I love you, man.
much.
Appreciate you, man.
You keep Barnes further down said World Zoom looks like Kevin Costner from Field of
Oh,
Dreams.
where's that at? Okay.
Further
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Hold on. All right. Close there. All right.
I got to tell George something here.
Linda Catalano says thumbs up. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, gives us
Thank
a thumbs
you.
up, makes Heidi happy. April Zager says, I love Canada, New Jersey. Well, that's another thing. Again, a lot of people, again, you can talk crap about certain areas, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how they perceive it. Um, I love Canada, New Jersey. And honestly, I know a lot of people love Canada, New Jersey too. That's why I mentioned Camden. But they also tell you, well, you know what? It's a little rough there, but I love it. That kind of deal. Again, Second Wind says, Bruce, don't get me starting on Chinese food comment. George and Heidi, favorite vlogger, will post another short. I
Right.
saw my comment on a short about American Nation food.
Right.
What? Oh, April Zager says, how long have you guys been married so far?
Oh, she just said married for 4 years. 4 long years.
Oh, Victor C says, Camden has an aquarium. You can find me having drinks at the waterfront. There you go.
Ah,
Yeah. Rindan says, do you ever consider teaching karate and last black belt? Okay. No, I don't teach anymore. I'm too old for that. And yes, I was an instructor for X amount of years on 2 belts, not just one.
Mhm. Is that where Barry Jordan is in Cebu? Yes. He claimed he spent all that time. I know that's where he actually is. Um, so, but he did a whole video based on that, and according to him, he's being held based on something going back and forth between an expat. I thought he was being held because of the overstay and because of his criminal charges of whatever was going on with the fighting that he was, his physical altercations. But could be wrong. It's always speculation, I guess.
Right. Victor C says there's really good websites
I
and
mean, his video's out. Like his physical video was put out showing what happened, but I'm sure that would be more of a reasoning than it's kind of like Zoom being held, statement being said that he's being held because of a misunderstanding because of the vlogger that turned him in. I believe that he was being held based on what had happened or something that happened in the country versus that. He said they also, by the way, he said also in his video, just telling George on the side, said in the video that Zoom also said that once they had him and they released something on Facebook or in the papers, that they had to stick by that statement. So they held him for that reason too. So in other words, when the poster was given, there was a misunderstanding. They'd already printed it in the paper, through the Philippines, and then they had to make basically an example of him based on the poster and all of that, and that they weren't going to go back on it. But I think they had the right based on his, previous charge, because he's still mentioning the 10-year thing again, that it's been more than 10 years. And I could kind of agree with that to some extent if it had been 10 years and not federal. So there's a lot of things that can be, dealt
Right.
with. Oh, okay. So that's what JJ and the Lonely Bull said. I don't know. You were a black belt in karate, George. Yeah, you withdrew it, but we can still see it here.
I
So,
wasn't.
hey, JJ.
To clarify, I wasn't a black belt in karate. I'm a black belt in taekwondo and dragon style kung fu. Now, if you guys wondering what dragon style kung fu is, if you guys watch Kung Fu Panda, there's mantis style, tiger style, blah 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 blah. You get all of those styles and put them together.
It's good to see you back.
Then it turns into dragon style. It takes all the best elements and creates one kung fu. Anyway, Victor C
Yeah, I'm not
says
sure why he withdrew the statement.
there are really
so-
good websites on explaining judiciary rulings for specific cases and names. Well, Victor's saying is again, you can research on whether or not said individual qualifies for said trump
Which
cards.
can change, yeah. Oh, you're talking about based on the extradition. I said based on charges and stuff.
Well, that's what
Yes.
I'm saying.
But the
yeah.
basic rules say no. I mean, the basic, like, I even went after I seen that.
Well, like I
I'm
said,
like,
if we're talking about
it's
Sheila,
not-
forget it. I mean,
yeah,
that doesn't even affect her.
Yeah, it's not even her
And
situation.
it will affect her if she goes after that, because then she loses her job. She just,
And I don't think
because
she's.
she can't ask for asylum in the U.S. if she works in Dubai.
She can ask for it there.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely will happen.
And
Yeah.
I don't think after, I mean, I couldn't see it. That's why we never even considered it. It would be something way out there, but just never say never.
D-Man says, hello, you two. Just got here. Hope everyone's hey, D-Man.
Hey,
How you doing?
D-Man.
Lost in the Philippines says, Cardwell should make sure Sheila has nothing to do with his videos. Talking about the Philippines, like editing, adding photos, etc. She could be charged as a co-creator of defamatory
Correct. And he
content.
never has. He's never showed a video. He's never
Well,
been
that's
with her.
yeah, exactly.
I think her name has been changed. It might actually be Sheila, but I don't think Sheila is. It could be her middle name. I don't know.
But whether it's real or not, she's still out of the loop.
Some say she doesn't exist. Some say she does exist. Others have sent us messages saying she existed. It's kind of hard saying. Yes. House plants, I have one indoor aloe plant. So the rest of them are outside. Hey, Street, good morning. He says, who cares about the Zoom scammer? Says, yeah, I guess it's a topic. It's still a topic.
Well, actually, that's part of the reasons why we don't keep a lot of houseplants because do the cats eat houseplants? For the most part, they do, and that's why we don't keep a lot of houseplants. Correct.
Yeah. Same with the Christmas tree. We every year we kept one up. The cats and kittens end up. And now we have 2 kittens this year. So we have. What I'm going to do is put a lighted tree on the wall. I'm still sure they'll get up there and get it, but
April Zager, everything is a misunderstanding. There you go.
yeah,
Victor C
yes,
says
it's just a
meow.
discussion.
Right. Rocky Raccoon says George's Kung Fu Panda. Well,
Yep.
Kung Fu Panda will probably kick my butt at this stage. But yeah, just saying.
Right. We all um, actually all do get old. That is for sure.
Now, again, the thing is it even? Well, I mean, you say it. What do you think of going back?
Well, I said I'm not going back.
What? Why? That's
Well, mostly it's the cost. Even as much as I miss family and the kids, cost would be a major factor. So when George was working, I was doing part time, which I'm allowed to do on my Social Security. We were spending a couple thousand a month, and we spend half of that, pay the bills, still go out, still do some traveling, still afford to have a car, still do basic medical, but you would never be able to do that in the US. And there was no, there was just, and when we moved, it's not like we were just sitting there last year and then decided to move. When we decided to move, it was in the middle of the pandemic. It was lockdown here. It was basically a lockdown there. We went to Mexico for 6 months to not burn through savings and then have George working 16-hour days, 6 days a week. And even the one day you had off, you still went and worked a half a day. And if we weren't doing that, we was doing office work. So it was a major rat race, and it was keeping up with the Joneses. And to me, George, I don't know what he'll feel about this. I feel it was like tribalism. It's like people were grouping up, or there was a form of, I don't know. There just seemed like, yeah. See you looking at me. I mean, isn't that, maybe I'm misusing the word tribalism that existed in the U.S.?
well, if you're talking about clicks.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like one group. We're not talking about those like rich people hanging out and then, 420 smokers and only alcoholics that hung out in bars, which was true. If you weren't in a specific group, babe, a bunch of people after work, they would all just go drink. I'm not going to sit there and hang out with, that group. Like everybody tended to have like these major cliques. You did. You had to belong to certain socialisms, certain.
No, you have to find your own crowd, so to speak.
Well, yeah. And so because of the rat race and the cost, I mean, just like when we were just talking to the kids recently, the phone call we just had with our son the other day, he actually went on and on and on that is just astronomically expensive.
Mhm.
That the cost post pandemic has just become, they were talking about the rise of this grocery item by 40%. And we're talking not 5% or 10%. We're talking grocery items going up quite a bit. We're talking
Well,
car insurance. We're talking, so it's just too expensive to live there. If everything was a perfect life there, and it might be like the 1970s again, which we're not even saying it was perfect then, even then you would find it hard pressed to go live back in the US.
well, just
I
an
love my country, but as far as, you know, if I'm allowed to live abroad with my husband that's a Filipino citizen, then why not? I have the right to actually do it also. So, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of, finding, mental clarity, mental health improves because you're not in a rat race, you're not there with a bunch of angry people and the homelessness and the crime and all these other things. And we've had people that have come through and said, Heidi, you don't know nothing. You ain't been home in a couple years. It's not as bad as you say. Okay, well, everybody that we actually have spoke to, or videos or news or anything. We have people living there. We have family members, and they say it is so. So
Right. Now, you guys ever wonder why $800
hey,
is
Big
like
Papa.
what everybody talks about? Now, we don't agree with it. First off, okay, we don't agree with the $800 budget. The reason why most of the time the people talk about the $800 budget is because this is usually what the disability thing is. The the cap is kind of.
That
That's
that's
the
been a
problem. That's why
curious.
they keep throwing that $800 number.
It's the low income. I think
Correct.
it's
That's the cap.
SSI.
Right. And that's,
Well, I think some of it's a little higher than that now, but it seems to be the
well,
low
if you're,
end.
there are exceptions, but that's for the most part. Yeah. And that's why they keep throwing that number out. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that number, keep in mind. However, the problem you have is, for example, this is current. For example, if you're looking for a bed space, most on average, I'm not saying it's all throughout California. For example, you're looking for a bed space, okay? I'm not talking about, an apartment. I'm talking about bed space. $800 for a bed space, guys, bed space.
Where at in the U.S.?
California in the US right now.
Oh, okay.
Correct. So that just killed your $800 budget if you're, for the most, again, I'm repeating myself over and over. Not all of California, but for most part, on average, California, a bed space costs about $800, and that's why, you know, um, homelessness is an all-time high. A lot of people living in their cars because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. No, it's really, that's why a lot of people are actually living in their car. So that
Right.
is for sure. We know a big percentage of our people are from the US are actually watching. If you guys can let us know where you're from, what you guys are paying, if you guys agree, disagree about the crime, the immigration issue, the, reasons of not going back. Now, a lot of people will say that the same thing exists here. Sure, sure. It's a lot actually going on actually here. But um, you guys are super busy, aren't you? So they're like the toast.
Right, and that's why I brought up the $800 budget again, because a lot of times, like, even let's say, okay, break, let's do the, let's assume, okay, I can live with $800 bed space. Let's say your budget is 1,500 for your Social Security. Well, let's analyze that. 1,500 minus 800, that leaves you with 700. Then you have to analyze: do you live? Yeah, do you own your car? Are you still making payments? You know, do you have a car? Because guess what? If you live in California, odds are you need a vehicle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the whole point is we talk more towards the retirement and people that might come here with online jobs that can legally work here at some point, and they're coming over here. Some will come over here early, but they do it where they have savings and they got some sort of pension. Some come where they've got a really good online job and they're retiring in a year or two, and they're 13As, which means they're allowed to work and they handle their taxes like they're supposed to legally. But a lot of people will be dealing with, once they get to the age of whatever it is, 62, and they go into retirement with Social Security and a pension. Even with a pension and Social Security, you'd be hard pressed to live in the US at this point. But then we've had people that have said that they're doing it. My house is paid off and this is going on and that's going on. But it's, lots of reasons to actually come here, that's for sure.
Correct.
Okay.
Victor C says nearby Atlantic City and Philadelphia, there's a train. I need software for finance, maybe a CPA soon too. Right. So, well, that's another thing. Public transportation, depending on where you're at. For instance, I guess yeah, I mean, depends on if you're near a subway, near a train station. You can use that. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for Grab or whatnot. But for the most part, by experience, you need a vehicle in the U.S. I mean, I've been in a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of different
true.
states. I've been in a lot of different states. You need a car. You know what I'm saying? Especially in places like Ohio, Indianapolis. You know, it's even Indianapolis. You need a car. You know what I'm saying? Um, California, you need a car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been in a lot of places, and well, Georgia, you need a car, but probably rather not. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, driving in Atlanta specifically. I'm being specific. Atlanta, Georgia, forget it. I hate it. That's another thing. That's a good point. I'm telling you, it says no car, no job. Thank you. You need a car.
And that's something else here. Although you will struggle when you get here doing adjustment, if you guys haven't spent a lot of time here, leaving, a lot of people have never even left the country or left their state or anything. So they'll come here and they'll struggle. There'll be a lot of adjustments, but you'll find some things easier. Just like I was telling George that we're grateful about the car from his family. But here's the thing, it doesn't get used all the time. So we have the e-trike and the car, but honestly, here you can find a cheaper form of transport if you're living in the city and stuff. Really, it's the same here. You would need a car if you live out in the province for cheaper rent or to
Correct.
get away from the smog and all of that stuff. Um, just on the side note, I just heard a video today where they said living in Chiang Mai, they said that you can only live there so many months of the year, or you shave about 10 years off of your life because of it. I guess the smog. Chiang Mai.
That's Thailand.
Yeah, I guess it's just a really polluted area. So pollution does exist, of course, in
No,
Southeast
of course it
Asia.
exists here too.
There's a
Yes.
level of it for
Yes.
sure, the air quality. But so a lot of people can use the grabs. Like somebody asked us the other day what it costs to actually get to the mall. And I think 300 pesos if we take a van, maybe with a tip, it's like, $10 if we load up the wheelchair. And we haven't had to do that in a long time. So a regular car that shows up, then it's,
Oh, hey.
did you see what happened to her?
It's over here.
Where?
No, go ahead. Go
Oh,
grab
that's
her.
okay. No, that's all
No.
right. It's Linda being loud.
Yeah, Linda's being loud.
But yeah, car. So things become, the simplicity of life becomes
Stop.
easier and cheap. Yes, if you're single, you can just go grab some Canadaria and some fruit and walk around and find something inexpensive to eat. And you could live in something really small. Whether it's practical for you or not will be a big,
Right.
a
Now,
big difference.
for those of you wondering, well, what's the difference between street food versus restaurant food? It's double. And if you're wondering,
Yeah,
well, what's
what's
the
it?
number? On average, Carinderia food runs 70 pesos now. It went up. Um, and of course, you're going to eat a restaurant. It's around 140 to 150. So it's literally double the price. But that's up to you. And again, that's your discretion if you want to eat Carinderia.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, personally, I prefer Carinderia
Hi,
food because
Rocky.
to me, it feels more made with love versus ones in a restaurant. They're like mechanized. But anyway,
Yeah, we're gonna hit the market today and get you guys some footage of that again today.
yeah.
Um,
Hey, Big Papa, how you
hey,
doing?
Big
Big
Papa.
Papa says, I'm up here in the most northern eastern state in USA. Our rents went from 800 to 1200 to 1600, and foods are not grown locally are seeing 40% more increase. Correct. Big Papa also says we had many from big cities move into Maine and working from home that drove up the housing prices. So goes the rest. Now, this is a problem. Yes, back then there's cheaper housing because most of the time people don't want to live there because they don't want to do the commute.
It's kind of like living out in the Ozarks. We left Kansas
Yeah,
City, where one of my nursing jobs were, and when we went out to the Ozarks, it's because his brother was out there in a big
yeah.
house and a
Nobody
big
wants to live
farm and
that far.
everything. Yeah, so once you get out there, you have to have a car. It's literally 18, 20 miles just, going through areas just to get
Right.
up to a main highway and stuff. So you needed a car, but the rent was dog cheap. Like you get 20 acres of land and a small house for like $100 back in the
Yeah, but
90s.
now
So
the price is going up on these boondock places because
people
people
can
work
work
at
and
home.
read. Yeah. So they're saying because of the immigration push and the people that are arriving, and the jobs and all this other stuff. Yeah, remote work is causing everybody's housing to
It's an
just pop.
upheaval, yes.
It's in a crazy stance. It says here that the new generation, and of course, I would say our generation, it says the biggest reasons that they're leaving, cost of living is what's forcing people out of the US or not to go back to the US.
Correct.
It's actually causing Filipinos that are living in other areas that have been living there, say with their spouses that are foreign and everything, to come back. It's just not coming back just to be with family members, it's cost. So they're wanting to get back to their culture. The next thing listed, it says here is politics. They're just saying everything going on with politics, which we won't get into, is another thing that played to what's going on with the government and all that, vice versa, or, everything going on. And they're saying it's the safety. It's what's been happening at the schools, which I can't go into full detail. We know what goes on at the schools, the safety of the kids, the DRGs or the party favors, all of that, the safety that's going on is the other reason. And it's some of the main reasons why people are leaving. So it's just not the same. There, is the American dream still alive would be the question.
Jennifer Wilson says, I live in a city in Canada. No problem with transit. Good to hear that. Peach Pepper
Yeah.
says, that's one good thing about Filipinos. Transportation might take some time, but a lot commute that way. Now, when a Filipino tells you, let's say, because again, I talk to a lot of locals and spend a lot of time with locals a lot, regardless of what you guys think.
I know.
The most common statement I get is, where do you live? How far is that? And the most common answer is 2 hours away. Now, remember, it's not about distance. It's never about distance. It's about how long the commute is. Because again, I even hear,
Well, what does it give an idea with like the family home? It was kind of like if you were in New York or you guys are in Manila. It
depending
would
on
take,
traffic, it take up to
or
two
making it to
hours or
Tampa.
an hour and a half. But in the US, it would take 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
All right, so if you drove to the family home,
If
how
we were
long?
in the US, it would take 15 minutes to get to the family home. But here, it could take to 1 hour and a half to 2 hours with your own vehicle.
Right.
Now, if
So
you're commuting, it
yeah,
would
if you're
take 2 hours or two
hey,
hours and a
leave
half
Linda
if
alone.
you're commuting.
Hey
That's the
Linda.
point. Again, don't fool yourself on Google
Hi
Maps.
Linda.
Oh, it's only
Hi
a
Linda.
kilometer and a half of that's nothing. It'll take a couple of minutes
Hi
to get there.
Linda.
Wrong.
No,
For the
no,
most part,
hi
that's not
Linda.
how it works. Unless you live in the
Hi Linda.
boondocks and there's no cars. That's not how it
Oh,
works here.
oh,
Just so you
Grouch.
guys
Hey,
know.
that's enough.
Again, on average, here in Angel City, on average, most of the time they tell me it's like, oh, it's a 2 hour commute. And that's because that's how long it takes. It's not about distance, it's about how long it takes.
Philippines and beyond is in the house.
And that's
Hey.
why PH Expat Pepper says transportation might take some time. It's never about distance. Now Manila, Jiminy Crickets, that's a different story entirely. Driving through Manila is like driving through Atlanta, Georgia, if if that's a good comparison. Big Papa says, I can't live as single man here in Maine like I can live in the Philippines. True, very true.
Philippines and beyond. He said the link. Okay. I'd like to talk about the
Oh,
conditions in Mandawi detention. That's the actual.
yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
that the other?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
see.
Jerry, just a sec, okay? Now, PHX at Purpose says no car costs, etc. Heck, 4 times the car this week, 50K. Now, see, that's another thing. Even if you paid for your car fully,
That's
you
why I
have
said
to
maintenance.
maintain it. Like, for example,
We just
our
spent
car,
10,000 on a few items, so we
right?
could have we
It
could have
needs
rode
maintained.
around for two
Yes,
years
it
on
need.
that.
Well, of course, obviously, it needs gas, needs oil, need your brake change. You need have your transmissions fixed or whatnot. You need fixed on your car. You need a new gasket, you need a new radiator, whatever. there's still maintenance costs, and usually
Which
that costs an
still
arm and a leg.
blows my mind because the streets are full of new cars, old cars, bikes, motorcycles, and all of that. And since you were a kid, the traffic has really, really picked up here.
Oh
Makes you
my
wonder who
gosh,
can
not even
afford to
close.
ride around because when you get in a car, you're stuck in traffic, and gas is still what, about $4 a gallon here? And if you think about it, that's
Put it this way, I really wish.
so that's 300 pesos. 300 pesos a gallon, and percentage of the country is living on less than 1,000 pesos a day.
Right.
So think about that, per gallon. So it's like half your wages per gallon of gas just to put in it. I can't even begin to tell you where I start to think on a Filipino level, but a lot of people do have cars now. Maybe a lot of it is foreigners and
Yeah.
Chinese and Koreans, and who knows.
For you gearheads out there, the things I miss about cars nowadays, and some gearheads will appreciate this, what I'm about to say. You know what I hate about new cars? They don't have an oil gauge, they don't have a heat gauge, and they don't have an RPM gauge. I hate that. Now some of you are like, why would you hate it? It's no big deal. Most of the time we don't pay attention. Well, most normal people
Well,
don't.
we know where April Zegger comes from because she's already attacking Philippines and beyond.
Yeah, but what I'm
So
saying is again that the reason why I mention these is because, well, the RPM not so much, but depends on how you drive. But the oil gauge one, obviously, the oil gauge is a good thing because so you know if you have a leak or if your oil's a little off. That's what an oil gauge for, which is I think should never been taken out of the dashboard in the first place. The heat gauge, that's something you need here in the Philippines because I tell you what, us driving to Quezon, us driving to Olongapo, that's not a problem, honestly. So I don't need a heat gauge for that. But driving in around Angeles City or San Fernando or in, well, not Bulacan, not so much. San Fernando, not so much either, but more in Angeles City. Me driving in Angeles City, I swear the car's gonna overheat because of the traffic. It's stop and go traffic, stop and go traffic, stop and go draft traffic in the heat. And honestly, yeah, no, it gets hot, and that's why I want a heat gauge because I'm like, geez, Jiminy crickets, what's gonna happen to my car? But anyway,
yeah, so we uploaded that Philippines and beyond, or
yeah, Jerry,
anybody
the
that
the
wants
link's
to
in down there for you.
discuss the cost
Yeah,
and why they're actually here.
yeah, Jerry, if you're still in the
Um,
room, it's there.
we know that there's another detention center, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be different rules to immigration and being held and all of that. Um, I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference in the U.S. Now, maybe I could be wrong but it's
Well, yeah, of course there are. There's no one. I mean, there's several
yeah.
different islands. Rocky Raccoon says Northern Ireland has a burning season from
Okay,
March
so
to
that's why. So it's
June. They burn off their crap that causes major pollution in places like
crops. So that makes sense.
Chiang
Why
Mai.
in Chiang Mai? Yeah, because somebody said you should go out near the winter months or something. They gave and
The smoke can go as far south as Bangkok, so be the days. Okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
G-force gauge, huh?
Have you ever driven a performance car that
Me.
right? No, I've been in a Shelby Cobra, and I keep forgetting the car's name. That actually, the Shelby
My
Cobra,
1971 Chevy Chevelle did.
yeah, the Shelby Cobra didn't actually push me to the seat. Another car, I don't know why I keep forgetting the car name. It looks like an old what do you call that? You know, carry on my wayward son. Their car,
I think
but
it's a Chevy. I mean, I thought his was a Chevy Chevelle
and
too.
that was the only car that actually pushed me to the seat and actually felt G-force. But not even the Shelby
I can't
Cobra,
even think
not
of
even the
that
Shelby Cobra put
show.
me in the back of the seat. Yeah. Hey Jerry, how you doing? Welcome Jerry, guys. Philippines and beyond.
Hey, Jerry. Looks like we got some of our fans in the house today. How
There
are
you
you
go.
doing?
I was here taking a massage, and then I was just listening to your show.
Hey. So, what do you think of this whole Zoom thing? Him putting it out. And then, of course, we have the other guy that's in there. Do you know anything about that guy, other guy in there?
Oh, Barry Jordan. Look,
Yeah.
that place is like a country club. You can actually you can walk out of there anytime and leave if you really wanted to escape. The cell phones are not locked. Okay.
Right.
You can. I mean, Barry Jordan is actually living better in that detention center than he was.
And he did in his place. I hear you. Now,
Now you can.
is he being held because he has another court hearing because of defamation? Do they do that in the Philippines, or is he actually being held because of the crimes that he's been charged with that I've seen on video?
Well, from my understanding, he's already has a deportation order to be deported, but you cannot be deported. See, Barry Jordan was an overstayer from the day he came to the Philippines. He's 8
Right.
years out, didn't pay his visa fees. Now, what happened was that other clown on Bentine Island basically paid him and his lawyer paid paid a bunch of people to catch Barry Jordan. They paid for all the expenses of people coming to actually arrest Barry Jordan on overstaying fees, right? On overstayer. But once they got him on overstaying. Then what they did is they pressed charges. Barry Jordan, from my understanding, has 5 cyber libel suits against him. So you cannot leave the country. You can't get an NBI clearance until these cyber libel cases are
so that
done.
does include cyber libel. So it's like the United States when they don't release people if there are cases in the system.
Right. So he's in the system.
Okay, so it's not because of the other cases that was allegedly put on him for the fights or.
No. It's strictly basically the cyber libel. And what's happening is the other stuff that they use with the knives and all that, they're just using that that's going to be used probably, from my understanding, or from what I'm speculating, they will use that to deport him and make Barry Jordan undesirable, so that Barry can't ever come back to the Philippines. So that's how they're going to use that. I presume that's how the Bentine guy is going to use them tapes to get Barry Jordan. You know, when Barry Jordan leaves, he doesn't want Barry Jordan to come. Now, here's what's happening, and I'm sure the Bentine clown is listening. There's actually a case now against the Bentine Island guy. There's cyber libel cases against Bentine Island guy now. That's what's happening, because Barry Jordan's girlfriend filed cases against the Bentine guy. Okay, so the Bentine guy's got some issues now. He's got to clean that up. So they're going back and forth now. It seems to me that maybe they're trying to put pressure on the Bentine guy by going after him, for him to drop the cases so that the other guy can get deported out, you know, and these cyber libel cases are gone. So it's both of them have cases on them now. This is what's happening. And I think what they're trying to do, the one side is trying to get the other side to go broke. So they're making him, you know, that's what's happening. But that Mandawi Detention Center, I mean, you can buy a refrigerator, you can bring in fans, you can have your girlfriend spend the night whenever she wants. Yeah. There's conjugal visits 7 days a week if you want. So that it's like
he said that there was no food given in there at all. I mean, aren't they doing at least the basics?
No, you got to. I think
food delivered.
No, you got to get your own food. You got to get your own food. So you have to get your own food. So that's why if any of you guys will ever go to jail, it's good to have somebody on the outside, like a girlfriend or somebody that's going to be there to help you, because you're going to need somebody on the outside to be able to bring food to you. I mean, you can get delivery. You know, you can get what's that Panda delivery, whatever. You know, Barry Jordan just gets delivery to his cell all the time to the detention center. Food deliveries. Yeah, Panda Express will deliver to the detention center. Yeah. So yeah, you got to get your own food. I don't know about the shower stuff and all that, but yeah, there's a lot of things like if you got to have somebody on the outside to help you. Like BJ's girlfriend comes in, she washes his clothes and stuff in the courtyard. There's like a water spigot there. She can wash his clothes and stuff like that. So again, the guy's living better in the detention center than when he was outside the detention center. He's got his video game, Xbox, all that shit. He's got his phone, internet, all that shit.
No, I figured he did. I mean, I know what I read, and this is just from reading. I heard that if they're in prison, they get X amount of rice and maybe some fish. They may not get a whole lot of food. So I was just curious how they get away with not at least giving them something if they're being held to be deported. So
you know what? I think they may give him something, but it's probably not very much. If they
like
see you,
said, it's probably a little bit of rice and fish, and he probably refused it after a few days. George said they probably stopped trying. So because he said the guards and their families and everything, it's like we believe, like most of his story, we had no doubt that the place was probably, in a bad situation. But yeah. So why do you think they actually took him?
I don't really believe anything that World Zoom guy ever says. I mean, he's just a fucking con man from what I see. He is. I mean, that's basically what he is.
Well, he tried to say that they just didn't actually hold that they were like sorry, I had to think about that. They were holding him basically because of a poster that a expat, who used his embassy, we know that's Mark. We know he's made more and more reference every day. He said he misused it, turned in a fake poster. They went by the fake poster when they realized in the news that it wasn't so, that it was already taken care of. They figured they would just go ahead and call him an undesirable after that it's been 10 years. That doesn't apply. And I'm like, well, even if the 10 years would apply to what immigration wants to do, it's still a federal offense, which the 10 years doesn't count after that. And it was a very, 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 very serious crime. I mean, it was a lot of money. He, had been sitting 7-8 months in a prison in Thailand, and the amount of money and the alleged passport, how he got out of the country was taken. And so there was a lot more than just to a little bit. So they had the right to do that to him based on that, correct? Based on just that crime itself and 15 felonies, that was enough.
Well, he seems to be going back and forth to the U.S. without any issues. At least that's what it looked like. Now, somebody said that the last time he went to the U.S., he really didn't go to the U.S. He was still in the Philippines, but he made it look like he was in the U.S. So I don't know, You can't believe anything that guy says. He's a con man. He's always been a con man. Once a con man, you're always going to be a con man for the rest of your fucking life. That's just the way I, So, does he have money stashed away? Probably. Was he, everybody thought maybe he was an oversteer. That's why he got picked up. But then where did he get all this money to be able to get himself out?
Well,
Some of his stories.
That was just it, real quick. Yeah, he said that, that was like some of the discussion we were just having with people, just a discussion. And then recently our Philippine Journey just did a video, and someone asked us earlier about that. And he gave like his Trump cards, and I'm like, well, I don't know as much as if they were Trump cards. Him writing a book or comparing it to Midnight Express, it's like, that's way off, It has nothing. This is just a guy that got held because of his felonies and what he's done. And he's been in a Thai prison. The man's been in a lot of problems in the last couple of years. And it hasn't been 10 years. It's been 10 years since the initial court hearing came up. He just got out, I think, by his own admittance in 18 or something. So he waited 5 years to get his passport. So I guess you have to wait 5 years if you have federal offenses. So I think that's why he left at that point and when he actually got out. But either way, we don't know the whole story, and relying on the man himself to come up with the story will be, and a lot of people believe he's just elaborating because it is for YouTube, and it's, Yeah, you know, it is what it is. So, but
Again, I don't believe anything that the guy says. If his tongue came notarized, I still wouldn't believe anything that this guy said. I've never actually met him, but from what I've seen on his videos and all the stuff that he's doing and all this, I don't even know if the guy was really in a Thai prison. I really don't. I don't even believe that. You know, he's just a con man running around
well,
Southeast
no,
Asia.
that was in the local papers, even the PAL News, which is the local news where he worked and the hospital that he did all that too. They actually
Yeah.
did a whole article saying he was definitely, so there were several sources that he was in a Thai. That did happen. Now he said it was because of political unrest, but
That's
what it
foolish.
turned out to be, after a bunch of us did research, like we finally covered one of his stories and we waited for everybody. We got all the articles. We went through what he said, what others said. And it just turned out to be that, per the newspapers of the locals in his town, that he definitely did, that he was there, and that's where he had been taken. He was being extradited and he did not fight it, and he was extradited. So they just caught up with him, that he had left a kid behind. And there was a bunch of story.
How long was he in a Thai prison?
7 months, I think he said. 8 months.
Yeah, after they did after
he didn't pay his way out of a Thai prison, but he paid his way out of a Philippine detention center.
Because at that point he was being held. The U.S. had a federal. He was on an FBI wanted list. So the paper that got turned in here in the Philippines was an FBI poster, allegedly by Mark.
You know what?
Allegedly, because they are saying one or two other vloggers turned in paperwork too.
Allegedly.
And then supposedly that's what happened. And when they realized it was a mistake, that he already served his time for his 15 felonies, $4 million, and all the crime that happened, that he said that they realized it was all a mistake, but they couldn't let him go. So he's told several different things in the last couple of videos. Now he's saying that a person, Mark, had used his credentials and said he worked for the embassy, turned in the paperwork, and that's the whole reason. But I believe it's because of the felonies, the high amount of felonies, because I think it was like 15 charges or something. So it just wasn't one. And then the time he spent in Thailand, which was still considered an imprisonment. There's a lot going on. So that were actually facts. And so they have the right, based on that, as long as he was behaving in the Philippines, you know, and nothing else went wrong, that would be the reason. It's only been a couple years since he's been out of a federal prison.
Yeah, I mean, they can kick you out of here or any country. They cannot renew your visa for any reason. Think about it. There's a lot of guys that go off at an immigration officer and they won't renew your visa just to go off at him. So they might have said, look, this guy's a career. I mean, he's a career criminal. You know, you're a career criminal when you're doing this kind of, you have all these felonies against you. You're considered a career criminal. So they probably just said, you know what, let's not renew this guy's visa. He may cause problems here and stuff like that. You know, so yeah, I mean, hey, they tossed him out, and yeah, that's probably what happened. The question is he going to try to get back in to the Philippines because supposedly he's married here or something like that, or he married
something like that. We've mentioned it. We know there's others that have, but you know how people like to send emails and photos and information. We had received from what appeared to be reliable sources that he was married to this person, but you know, I don't know. And the guards, if you talk to them at the facility, they're super friendly. And so we had heard that. Then there's that other guy, I don't know what his name is, said that he went there and they said the same thing. They mentioned her by wife, but you know, Filipinos, they could use the term loosely. Then there's been debates whether Sheila exists or not.
No, Filipinos do use the word wife loosely, yes.
So,
you may not necessarily be married, but they say wife.
Which it is just a newspaper. We know how them can, you know, could be possibly false. Said that he was applying for a permanent visa is what when they ran it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the question is, when they do an NBI background check on you, do they just check in the country if you have any issues, or do they go outside the country also? That's one thing I can't come up with a clear cut
there is
answer
a
to that.
yeah,
I
there is a
believe
list. There is
there's
a
a
list.
list, and they run you through,
Poll?
they
Do they run you through poll?
Interpol.
Yeah, there's they run it through there.
Right.
Yeah, there is a
Mhm.
list. If you've done, really bad stuff, yeah, you get on the list. Yes, and they do
Right.
run that. Yeah. But Jerry, again, this is actually a valid question. Victor says, I believe this is directed to Paul. What's the possibility of being a deported person? I believe what we're trying to he's asking is basically is do you think he was deported unwillingly or as in Paul's words voluntarily?
You know, the living conditions aren't the greatest, but it's not like being in a prison over there at that Mandawi Center. I
Right.
haven't been.
That's
I know friends of mine have been there. Uh, so the question is, did he want to get out? Uh, you know what? They probably deported him. Think about it. They're gonna
I
deport
think
him
he
anyway,
wanted to stay. I personally think I was telling George we've had a conversation because he keeps putting these videos out. I said I feel he was trying to fight it and stay because when that other vlogger drove down there and he's been down there twice, he said that that him and Sheila lawyered up and they were trying really hard to stay. Okay. And
right?
then I think in the end, when they couldn't get certain things done, then it turned in. He said then an order was issued, although they seen he was clear from the US and all of that. But I really think that it just came down to what his charges were, how many there were. They seen. I just don't believe. I mean, I believe there's some looseness in the government, but I also believe with the embassy,
Loose.
yeah, loose as you. I believe that um, with the U.S. Embassy involved and his high price attorney that paid all of his alleged bribes and all of that stuff, that all of that money invested, I think there would have been some research. Oh, and that's another thing. He said that they ran him through an MBI and like four different names came up with his first and last. I don't know if you heard that part. So his first
Yeah, I
his
think about
first
that.
name and middle name came up. I get it because it happened to me. What did they have me do? I got a notarized piece of paper the same day, came back, and they cleared it right away. According to him, she had to go to every court where the person lived in different areas and pay a bribe and get his name cleared through the courts for the NBI background to be cleared. And it doesn't work like that because I have done it here in Angel City. They had my first and middle name. I did a video, I think last year, and I've had several NBI and clearances myself, including, I think I've had four altogether, including recently for my 13A. And it came up one time and it's been cleared ever since. So the very first time I did it, my first and middle came up. Last name, it was a Filipino. It said it was a Filipino, but they said that they had to have it cleared. So I had to get a notarized piece of paper, which is by an attorney. Most attorneys are the notaries here. He sent his attorney, which should be legally a notary also, to each court, and he had to pay a bribe for each court to get his name cleared so he could leave. That just seemed like another story to me.
Maybe, unless his attorney was in cahoots with others to drain as much money from the. It could be. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past that. It could, you never know. That could
I
happen.
did say that in
Look at
not
George,
exact
being all quiet.
words,
Sorry if I
not
pissed everybody's
exact
ears
words,
out.
but I did say something
George
like that.
said that his attorney.
It's kind of sus.
Okay, so for people that do a little bit more thinking, yeah, that was kind of my thoughts. That was really my thoughts. Is that
Well, when
because I've
you
done it
when you're a
myself.
foreigner, when you're a foreigner in the Philippines, and you're trying to do a case against somebody, or somebody's trying to do a case against you, they're gonna drag this out as long as they can to get as much money from you, because every time they go to court and do this and do that, there's going to be a fee. There's going to be money involved and stuff. Now, what he could have done is they might have just said, "Hey, man, if you go through us to get deported, you're going to have to go through Bikutan. You're going to have to spend some time in Bikutan. Blah blah blah." So,
No, he
do you
said
really
he
want
was
to do
being
that?
threatened to be sent there. Yes.
Right. So he might have said, "You know what? I don't want to go through that process. Let me pay myself. Let me pay these guys to get me straight out of here, straight out of Mandawi to go home." So he might
Right.
have just said,
Just saying it took a lot after that. So he said once they issued the mission order, he couldn't leave because of his bad MBI background because 3 or 4 people had his name, his first and middle name. And so therefore they had his name, but it was clearly not him and it was clearly a Filipino, but she had to pay to get him through the courts. But if I had not experienced that myself, then I would know. And I don't think it makes a difference that he would need a representative, right? To go to NBI and actually
course.
do the clearance. And she's a representative. So how come she had to pay bribes to push paperwork at a local court to get the NBI clearance cleared? It's weird.
Well, when you go to NBI, to get an NBI clearance, you actually have to go yourself. So he's not able to do that because he's in detention. So she would
Right.
either have to get a lawyer to represent him to go to
Which
NBI
he
to do
did.
that
That
for
was
him.
her, right? So she got that. He showed the letter, and the letter showed that there were 3, or I don't remember, it's 3 or 4. Again, I have to say I don't know if it's 3 or 4 people that had the same name. So he could not be let go. He's saying
I
that
don't know.
months. He said he couldn't be let go because he needed his name cleared. But like I said, it happened to me too. But it's done right there in the office the same day. If you have an attorney or you go out and get an attorney to sign the paper. George was there with me. It said that I did not live in this city during this time. I wasn't even in the Philippines. So all that was proven right there by an attorney in the NBI office. He's saying that, So anyways, he just said he had sent off his attorney to go to different courts in different areas of the Philippines to clear this all out. And
Right.
I don't know why it wasn't done with the NBI.
When you're in detention, you weren't in detention or anything. You were just basically on your own reconnaissance doing all that. When you're in detention, it's probably a different ball game because you're really at the
Right, but he had
mercy
an
of.
attorney though. You're right, but he had an attorney though, and the
But
attorney should have been able to deal with the NBI, not with. But I did say there was a slight possibility that for some reason I don't know why she would have to go to different cities to clear that out. Because the
that's kind of
person
weird.
that I was being blamed for lived where at? Where was the area at?
Hmm?
The area, the name, the head person had my first name and last name, whole different area.
Pangasinan.
Yeah, Pangasinan. So it was a whole different area, way different area. And so it had nothing to do with me, but I cleared it here in Angel City.
No, you don't have to fly over there.
Right. So that's what
Or
he's
drive
just
over
saying
there.
that's what the delay was, but I think he was fighting to stay. So that's all.
Yeah, again, this guy's just a con man. It's good that he's out of the country. Hopefully they won't let him back in. And anybody in that same kind of situation should not be really allowed to be running around the Philippines. They should just, and I think they're going to be more and more strict now on people.
I
They're
believe
going to
so,
be, they're cutting back on visas now, or the length of visas and certain types of visas. They want to redo certain visas and stuff like that. Is that 3-year, thing for the tourist visa still going to be around? Maybe, maybe not. They're becoming more picky, just like other Southeast Asian countries. So it's going to be interesting to see how the visa requirements are going to change over the next few years.
And they're
I
going to
think they want.
start tightening. They're going to start tightening down for sure. So they're going to start running more background checks. They've got systems installed in the airport that's doing more backgrounds. They've got bigger lists, to keep, of what they would say the riffraffs out, or the ones that misbehave. I believe a lot of them get here and they misbehave, and that's when they actually go down. So.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got to go, but I just wanted to come on. It's kind of funny as I was listening to this. Again, it's, as I always tell everybody, it's extremely important what channels you listen to, because there's so much garbage on these YouTube channels nowadays. Whether it's the Philippine genre, any other kind of genre, the Thai genre, this genre, that genre, and it's just amazing. It's just unbelievable how YouTube has changed in the last
Oh
probably.
yeah, it is. It's toxic. Yes.
All
We
right, guys.
appreciate you
Thanks so
dropping
much, Jerry.
in. Take
Appreciate it,
care,
man.
Jerry. All right.
Bye.
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 Now on Jerry was right. Again, a lot of things on YouTube, even in the US, most of the stuff you see on YouTube is garbage and crap and lies.
It's
Especially
content, and we get
it's
it.
it's
We
really
get it.
annoying. Even
Everybody's
back then, if you want to Google something, YouTube pops up, how to fix this, how to do this. It's
invented
legit.
stuff.
Now everything's fake. Even the fix-its are horribly fake. And
Jerry rigged.
not even. It's like that's never gonna work.
Which
But
is,
anyway,
each you have to take everything with a grain of salt. A lot of it is for entertainment. We're known for being silly, crazy, loud, obnoxious, all the above. That is for sure. And everybody is allowed their opinion and to talk and to say their things. We get the entertainment factor, coverage, and all of that. But just it is what it
it is what it
is.
is.
Love thy neighbor, man. But we always do recommend that most just if you stay within your community and with your people and your family, and you have some that'll say stay away from all expats. I wouldn't say to do that. I would just choose your friends carefully. Here, we've heard that over and over
Correct.
again. Choose them very carefully.
Trust no one.
I don't trust
Not
you.
I don't believe in that, but because I talk to everybody and I'm like anybody who's met me will tell me that I have my heart on my sleeve. Victoria says, "Good morning, good day, Heidi, George,
Hi,
and hi,
Victoria.
Victoria. How you doing?"
Sorry, guys. We actually went on about
Yeah.
the
Now,
yeah, and I guess that's something we didn't cover the last live or this live, but we've been seeing his videos coming out, and there are different opinions, but mostly it's when he put the video out, it kind of gave the bad vibe, until he did correct it the next one by saying, "Oh, I'm not saying, the guards are good people and this is that and this is that." A lot of people are wondering why he would even have attempted to come back to Asia after he sat 7 months in a Thai jail, and why he would, knowing that he has that many felonies, there is rules here in the Philippines who will be accepted and who won't with their backgrounds. And if he was just coming here for a week or two, it'd be one thing, but it looks like he had the intentions to stay here permanently. So something went south. We'll never know the entire story. We're definitely not going to get it out of him. His last 4 videos have been like a hit and miss. And so it looks like recently it was covered again, and he's covering it. And so I just
yeah, Yumi Mango says, "I learned how to remove my daughter's appendix on YouTube."
right, hey, Yumi.
I love you guys. You guys are hilarious. Ah, true
Learned how
story.
to bob the tails of the cats. I'm gonna bobtail them.
I wonder how you do that actually, other than just. I'm pretty sure you just don't do. It's not as.
The cats?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. No,
That's
usually
why I said it. I'm pretty sure it's not that simple. But anyway, I
no.
could be wrong
Usually,
though. But again, I wouldn't know.
yeah. It's probably a lot like dehorning the goats.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know. So not pretty.
Victor C. Cobra, cool, right? Shelby Cobra, yes. That's the thing that makes me sad about that Shelby Cobra is it's a real Shelby Cobra. It has
Oh,
Shelby's
is it
signature on the hood, not on the hood, in the engine. That's he, yeah. So anyway, the
Oh,
thing that makes me sad about it, the owner is a 16-year-old kid. But anyway, Big Papa says my 69 GTO God takes over would put you in the back seat. Well, no, that has a lot of power right there. The Judge, as they call it, 69 GTO, great car, great car. Mopar, and which I don't drive a Mopar right now. Yeah. Simon says, "Crud, I have to figure out who Barry Jordan is. Is Barry Jordan
old
Zoom guy?
player,
No,
8, 9 years
no.
ago. And I don't know if he's part of that. I don't know how long he's been here. It's only come up because we've had other people in our panels and forums and other people talking about There's a lot of old bloggers. There was a lot of toxicity. Like I said, something just came up from 8 years ago. A whole nother vlogger. He's got like 55 or 60,000 subscribers. And he was talking about how really bad it was here 8 years ago with the bloggers and the things going on. And all I know is I don't know anything about what the defamation suits are. So I guess I learned something. So then it is like the US. If you're sitting in county jail and you got a ticket for something and they're holding you to pay that $3,000 ticket, they're going to hold you if something's in another county for another ticket, or if there's a hearing against you, no matter what it is, they'll hold you if it requires an appearance. So then it looks like the same, but I'm just surprised if it is a defamation suit that they could actually, based on, I don't know if it's other Americans, another European, I don't know who's involved, I don't know the names, nor do we, I mean, we get into stuff. We're not going to be like other channels that say, I don't cover drama. There's several that say they don't, and then they do. We cover some of it if it's based, on dealing with people being tossed or what not to do or something else, aka Zoom. I mean, I don't know what would possess them to think that, people, like I said, people say the same about me. What would possess me? It's because I knew I would be okay. I already checked into all of that. So you would check in to see, I mean, if you guys got a background of pedo and you ex-nayed somebody and you have an attempted ex-nay, yeah, I wouldn't attempt to come here based on things that you are absolutely on a list for. So, but I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
anyways,
no.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot to process.
Pug Sanford says, "Hi guys from West Virginia, USA. Have a great day. You too." CBGB says, Mark is a special investigations agent for the State Department in the Philippines. He has many connections in Manila Embassy.
Hey, stop.
Sperling Edwards says, if you get denied extension in the Philippines immigration, what Asian country is the next best thing to hop over to? Well,
Malaysia, Thailand. Someone said,
Vietnam.
yeah, there's a lot of them actually. Singapore, if you have the money, Singapore is really nice. So.
Mm-hmm. Salem, yeah.
But
Well,
if you get
Angle.
denied the extension and something happened, I would reconsider why it happened here. So if you get nasty with them at the airport and they tell you in the airport, which has happened quite a few times, that you probably wouldn't want to try it in the next country if your patients are super short. So in other words, if that person snapped and popped off at that person and couldn't get along with them, they're just going to do it in the next country and something else is going to happen. So, but if it was just based on you've had too many extensions, and I'd go over to Thailand for a few months. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Timor. Oh, I seen that. Yeah. I learned how to.
Yeah, I know. That's hilarious. I love Yumi Mango's statement. I'm gonna have that tattooed on my chest.
All right, guys, we're gonna
Yeah.
wrap this up. We're beyond our 2 hours and bunch to do today. So, including attending George's funeral. So,
Hey,
thank
I'm
you
dressed for it.
guys. Right. If you guys aren't subscribed, be sure to subscribe,
Subscribe!
share, hit like
Share.
on the video, and we
Like.
appreciate everybody.
Like.
Share. And we appreciate everybody being here, and look for our up and coming videos if we ever get a video. Thank you to all of our members that have dropped in. Consider membership. It helps our channel grow. It helps us keep the lights on here at headquarters, pays for George's funerals.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hurley Wilson.
Murphy falls
Appreciate
down the
you.
stairs at 3
Linda
o'clock today and
Catalano.
breaks his
Thank you so
legs.
much. Appreciate you so much. What? You're gonna push me?
No, did I say that? Bruce.
Yeah. Thanks
Bruce
so much.
Davis, Linda, thank you.
Yes. Bruce Davis, Bruce Hertz, Sarah Tyson, Victoria. Thanks so much. Ted, of course, was with us today.
Scott
was with us today
was
too.
in the house.
Q,
Looks like we
Smile
had
and Be Happy.
April in the
Paige,
house,
Expat
which we
Pepper.
know April is a special member.
Corner
So,
Clubhouse Cobalt
of
Enigma.
love.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much.
We appreciate everybody stopping by, watching.
California, yay,
all the
Bayer 619. Jennifer Wilson.
California.
Yeah. Oh, of course, Jerry from
Neil.
Philippines and Beyond. Thank you for being our guest today.
Yeah.
Yeah. MB, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Of
you,
course, Salem
Victor,
Realtor,
Dead Dog, PH Expat
Rocky
Prepper.
Raccoon, Victor,
Rocky
of course. Thank
Raccoon
you so
was in
much,
the
Victor.
house.
CBGB, Second Wind, bye-bye. Take care. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
live streaming, Sarah. Night. Later, peeps, Empin. Ted Denkins, have a great day, people. Thank you so much, guys. We love you all. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.